A few years back, I came to your home and spoke with you about how to cope with the reality of being apart from your son during his deployment. How did you feel when you first heard he was going to be deployed? And if you want to introduce yourselves, you can.
Okay. My name is Debbie Thudes, and I'm Brian's mom. This is my husband, Al. And I personally, when I found out that he was going to be deployed, I was scared to death. You envision so many thoughts in your head, you know, and you not only worry, well, you basically worry about their safety and just, you know, whether or not they'll be injured or, you know, even worse. It's a very scary feeling. You don't even know what to say to them either, you know.
Yeah.
You're trying to think of their thoughts.
How about you, Alan?
First of all, our son is a Fleet Marine Force Navy corpsman. He was attached with the Marines. His first deployment was into Iraq, and as Debbie said, it's scary. When you first hear it, you knew it's coming. You had time to prepare from the day he left for boot camp. You know it's coming.
Yeah.
But when you actually hear it, it's scary. It really is, and a million things will go through your mind. I was lucky enough that I had a support group through the Marines. I knew some of the parents that he was deploying with, which helped me then go through a lot of it.
Okay. What did you tell me that concerned you about your son? Because I think at some point my wife spoke to you, Debbie, about somehow came up what I do. You know,
Right.
that I offer support to families like this. But you must have said something to her that you were worried about, or...
I think we were, I kind of remember that we were talking about just conversations that we had with Brian during his deployment. I remember, you know, him calling home, and it was around the holidays, and just, you know, what to say to him, because I was worried that if I spoke too much about what, you know, what was going on at home here, that we were getting together with relatives, or we were going out with so-and-so, you know, friends or whatever, and was that saying too much to him? Would that make him more homesick and, you know, more upset that he's away from us, you know? Yeah. I was, you know, I didn't know how to act with him. I really didn't when he called, and, you know, would it, you know, just... And
didn't, I might have this wrong, but wasn't he seemingly communicating less with you guys? Like like it was getting less and less?
Well, that part of it is deployment, where they're at and everything.
Oh, okay.
And then you don't know, and you always need to prepare yourself. You answer the phone if it rings, whether you recognize the phone number or not.
Oh, right.
Because you don't know who it is. You can always say no and hang up.
Right, right. Okay. You know, those are good points. So how were you coping with it then? And this is like before you talked to me. What were some of the things you were doing? You had mentioned already a support group.
Support group. I wanted to know as much what was going on as I could.
Okay.
And
so more knowledge was helping you. That was part of your coping.
And you can go online and get a ton of information sent to you all the time.
Yeah.
I was just the opposite. The less I knew, the better off I was.
Yeah.
You know, I knew the danger he was in, but if I heard somebody speaking of it or saw it on television, it just made it clearer to me that it was real danger. So I coped with it basically with friends, and they were, you know, they were my support group. I didn't get involved in the support group that Al did, and also my faith. My religion, my faith is very strong, and I relied on my pastor and, you know, prayers of the congregation at my church to help me through it.
Awesome. So after we spoke, what kind of tools did you come away with to use to cope? And understanding that maybe just us talking was a huge part of that.
For me it was. Yeah. And you had mentioned groups that we, you know, that were available to us. And that was a big help because, you know, when he signed up for, or when he went to boot camp, they had told us about a couple of groups, but you kind of lose touch with the recruiting officer after they, you know, go through the boot camp and, you know, go on with their careers and get deployed. And so it was very helpful. You know, you had given us some brochures and stuff, and that was extremely helpful to know that there was somebody there if the need arose that we really felt like we were losing it. Or
and both for you and for him out where he was at, so you knew like, oh, he has lots of things that are available to him. Now he might not take anybody up on it, but it's there.
Correct. I think just knowing sometimes what's available out there brings comfort, you know, to, because you have more knowledge of where to go to if you really need it. You don't have to dig for it when you need it.
Right, so, which is always, you don't want to be doing that.
You know, knowing too, the same thing for when he came home from his deployment, that there was help for him if he needed it.
Right.
And ready, available.
Yeah.
Whether he'd be back at the base or even came home for a short, period of time for post-deployment, leave.
Yeah. And if anybody, he might actually listen to his parents. If, he said, I'm struggling with something, and you're like, oh, hey, I think there's some resources. He might listen to you guys over somebody like me, a complete stranger, trying to encourage him to use these free resources. So you kind of started talking about this. How did you cope after he returned? How did that go?
It was a relief. But then you start looking at other things too, because we've heard other people talk. We've had a speaker came into one group, things to watch for, and all of a sudden you're looking for depression.
Right.
Is he not hiding something, but is there stuff bothering him deep down inside?
Yeah.
Other things, maybe something you did or saw or whatever.
Right.
And that's what you keep an eye on and listen to on the phone. You don't want to pry.
Right.
We also were told that too.
Right.
Whatever he wants to say, let him say.
Right.
Don't go asking very, I don't want to say personal questions, but what happened all over there? What'd you do?
There's loaded questions that could automatically make him feel awkward.
Right.
And actually, he could answer you.
Right.
And then you all of a sudden hear things you might not be prepared for too.
That's very true.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think my fear, I don't think I'll ever get rid of the fear of post-traumatic stress disorder. It's scary because you read articles or see things on TV where soldiers, 20 years later have, flashbacks or whatever, and, just go crazy. And that, I think as a mom, you just are, I'll never rest easy about that. I'll just, right now, we're blessed. He seems perfectly fine. Seems like he coped very well. Mm-hmm. In fact, he's home right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he's going to be looking into colleges. But yesterday he was showing me some pictures online, of his deployment to Afghanistan and talking a little bit about it. And, there's just like a pit in your stomach about, what he's gone through. And, there was a nice picture of 4 of his buddies standing there arm in arm, and he said, and I don't know, 12 hours later we were mortared, and I'm just like, oh my gosh.
I think he needs to go through a course on what not to tell mom.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he has kept a lot from me. I think he's talked a lot more to Dad than me, because he knows I'm a warrior, and I just don't like to even think of what he's been through.
Yeah.
But, so.
So how long has it been since his deployment? And actually, you mentioned Afghanistan, so he's had another deployment since then.
Correct. And I think that Afghanistan, for me, was harder to go through than Iraq. Iraq. When he was deployed to Iraq, that was what, 2008?
It was 08, 09.
Okay.
Yeah. And when he was there, it was hard because he was gone for the holidays. He was, it's bad enough when they're out of state, but when they're in another country where where there's turmoil. But Iraq was starting to settle down a little bit, by the time he had gone there. But Afghanistan, I knew, was very hostile, and a lot was going on, and he was right on that front line, Yeah. So that was a lot harder for me to cope with that deployment than.
Okay. How about you?
I was a little more prepared, at least, for Afghanistan.
Okay.
Knowing though that it was probably going to be more intense, which it was, especially he was only there with 2 months, and we got a phone call saying that you might not hear from us again until were coming home, which would be 5 months later.
Wow.
Was what they did, and his company did something that nobody else had done up to that point through the whole Afghanistan thing. And
So the military side, they didn't want any information out, or it was going to be hard to figure out how to do the communication.
Right, there was,
So
very little communication. But I mean, like again, and then I was kind of a mentor for other people that this was their first deployment.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you guys become experts. I mean, I run into this all the time. The people that I work with, you know, there's some people in the audience that don't even see themselves that way, but they're experts at how to deal with, you know,
Not
first
quite what you
deployments.
want- Not quite what you want
Well,
to be an
he's
expert
much
on,
better because he's so knowledgeable on it. And
Yeah.
like he said, he relied on the internet and, you know.
Right. But he did it for the way a guy would do it in his way, but you did it too. You know, you reached out, you found support in friends and, you know, in the church, you know, all those ways.
Plus, there's other things you found out, you know, what to be sending them right away. What goes into the first box? A
Oh,
small
okay.
pillow goes in, or travel pillow. So he's got a pillow.
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, that's good specifics. Yeah.
And certain things that they need that they can't get over there.
Yeah.
And that's in every box you sent.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw there was a website I found out about like that posted those lists as
Oh, okay,
as they
right.
came up, you know, and one of them was like ant traps.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah,
things
yeah.
like that. You went, you know, I wasn't thinking that way, but that's what they're dealing with.
Baby wipes.
Yeah, baby wipes.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge one.
That
Yeah,
wasn't,
that was
wasn't
a huge
everyone.
one.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, and unfortunately, there's some of the guys aren't getting anything either.
Yeah.
So you're sending extra boxes to help.
Right.
But they share everything.
Yeah.
Basically, it gets all dumped in the middle of the floor, and everybody
Take
starts
what you
taking
need.
it.
It reminded me of basic training. Has he had any? Oh, yeah, he said. Does he have any upcoming deployments, and how do you think he'll cope?
No, he went to. He's actually back with the Navy finally after over 3 years, and
Yeah.
he had to extend his time though because there wasn't enough active duty because there wasn't enough to go to a second duty station. So he will be getting out though next June,
Okay.
and as Debbie said, that he's actually home right now. We're going to be looking at colleges,
Yeah.
and
Now, you're unlike most parents. You're gonna be looking at colleges, and you won't have to pay a penny, will you?
well, again, it's yeah.
Pretty
We
much
won't-
paid
we won't pay
for.
a lot, yeah. We won't have to pay for very much.
Yeah.
These
Yeah. I
kind
mean,
of
there's some
courses.
incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Shoot, I look into that. I mean, I actually used the Illinois Veterans Grant and had
That's what
4
he's
years of
using.
school paid for it
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
You're gonna go what, U of I or NIU or ISU?
He was going to look at NIU, and he's looking at UIC.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he's going to use the post 9/11
Yeah.
to
See,
go
that's
for his masters.
It's great. I actually used mine for my master's. I had a bachelor's when I went in, although I went enlisted, and I was able to use it to get 2 masters with that IVG, Illinois Veterans Grant, through UIC.
Yeah.
What does he want to study?
He's probably going to go into nursing and that way if he can't get into the master's program, he's got a job he can go.
Yeah.
He's either going to become a physician's assistant or
Oh,
he's going
smart.
higher up on
Right.
in nursing.
That's awesome. It's so funny. I mean, I always forget that he was a corpsman because I was a medic,
Oh, okay.
and I applied to UIC. I applied to their master's.